Yeah, this is beautiful, man. The fact that we can sit here and record and be in the sun, and also no one cares, bro. Like if you do this in Germany, someone is gonna come and say, "What you doing here?"
Yeah.
Privacy after this.
If you did it in England, you'd have people running up in front and going, "Oh, hi, Oggy, Oggy,
That's still
Oggy,
better,
oi,
bro.
oi,
That's
oi."
like, yeah, that's still cool. But this is like we're blessed freaking to be here, man. I love this country so much. I always tell Alex, it's like I should be a spokesperson for the United States of America because I endorse this country so much. I just love it here. It's the best.
It's a special
bro.
country, mate.
It is, bro. Why
It is.
do you think it is? You've been here for quite a while too.
Yeah, it's my 13th year here. It's quite the journey. Especially because I'm, like, again...
People that are born here don't think like you.
Oh, no?
People that are born here entitled shit.
What is it?
People who are born here are entitled.
Oh,
You guys appreciate it.
I certainly do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching America on telly. Like seeing it in movies, seeing it on... It's just the land of opportunity. The land of freedom. My dad would say it's the land with the big sky. Like he enjoys the drive. He did the Route 66. So the drive, when you just have like... It just feels like there's so much space. It's a big country. You feel that when you do a drive to LA.
yes.
And you're just like, this place is
Yeah.
vast.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I feel like we should talk about our journeys here.
Yeah,
What
sure,
brought
bro.
us here?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask you specifically because I did live in England, but so short. I mean, I was at TJ Maxx for like maybe a total of 7-8 months, and I didn't really, I couldn't really tell you so much how England is, other than everything was very dense. There's a lot of people. I was always on the train, like you're rubbing shoulders with everyone. It's not the type of thing I love. So, and the weather wasn't great, so I didn't necessarily love it there. I like London to visit, but I prefer the US specifically because I feel like people here are on average very nice. People are pretty relaxed here on average, specifically compared to Germany, but also from what I've seen in England. And bro, no one here cares. Whatever you do, as long as you don't disturb other people. As long as you do your own thing, you can dress however you want. You go, bro, sometimes I go into Sprouts, Walmart, I see how people dress. If someone dressed like that in Germany, everyone will be like, did you say that? You know. Here, man, no one gives a shit. Guys dressed like, no, I don't know, with the pajamas and stuff, that's the basic thing, even at university. No one cares, man. As long as you don't disturb anyone, you can be yourself. It's actually very interesting.
That's kind of championed here in America as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I really, really appreciate that. And I feel like that translates to a lot of other areas in life. For example, here it's fairly broadly accepted to do multiple things at the same time. You can be a DJ, you can also be someone who is a business owner, you can be someone, trying to work in fashion, and do all of that at the same time. People are not going to look at you a certain way. They're actually going to celebrate it, most of the people. It's so cool, you can do this, you're so creative, you can do that. Same with me. Like, working, product development, maybe doing modeling, starting my own business. Professor, they celebrate that. In Germany, if you do this, because you can't be fit into a bucket, the first thing they're gonna say is they're gonna doubt what you do. It's like, why are you doing all of this? Just do this. You can't be good at all of this. Just focus on one thing. It's different mindset, and I love that here. It doesn't limit your spirit, because that's how life is. Maybe you started something, maybe you have different interests, you want to do this, but if you have this voice inside of you, this is all dumb. You're supposed to just work in this career and progress there. Don't be distracted so much. It can crush your spirit very easily.
Is that the case, or can we feel like that wherever we are, though? And I get what you. I know it's America. It's certainly like a cultural thing. Like
exactly.
You feel like that, but
I know people that broke through this in Germany. Absolutely, I know people that can do this. What I'm saying is kind of this vibe societally, culturally. It's more difficult to break through. Yes, it's actually realizing that and realizing that yes, you can do all of that. Whereas here, I feel like it's the baseline. People are brought up with this type of mindset. It's okay to do multiple things.
Did you plan to move to Vegas though, or you plan to move to America? Because that's a different question as well.
No, I plan to come to the U.S.
You didn't have a place in mind at that point?
I didn't have a place. Well, I wanted to come to the warm place, and I wanted to come where the beach was. So this is California and Miami. And I literally only applied for maybe like a handful of schools. I ended up getting an interview in Miami, one interview in Riverside for the PhD, and then I decided to come to UCR because the Miami school was asking me to redo my GMAT, which is the General Management Admission Test. It's like a score you have to get, and it's a very difficult test. He's like, okay, I can accept you conditionally if you get the score above 700 or so, and I was at 620. I'm like, you know what, Riverside offering me full scholarship, So I came to Riverside. But yeah, I wanted to come somewhere where it's warm and sunny because one of the reasons I moved to the US was the weather. It was also the space. I never felt attracted to a place like New York because it's dense. It reminded me too much of Frankfurt or London.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons. But I think when I look back at it, bro, I think like subconsciously I wanted to keep my options in life open, and I felt like in the US I can keep those options open more easily. I always had in my mind that maybe I want to start a business. Maybe I want to work on social media. Maybe I want to do modeling, but I never had anything fleshed out. So I was like, dude, if you stay in Germany, yeah, maybe I start working for a company like, I was working for SAP, the software company, for example, in Germany. Yeah, I'd start a career and there and work your way up in the company. That was kind of like the idea that my parents always had. But there was something in me that's like, man, I don't think this is gonna feel fulfilling to me. I almost felt like it's crushing my wings, man. So there was this pull, this urge for me to go. And I had to find a way to come because I have a German citizen. And the way to do it for me financially, I wasn't allowed to work in the US, was by a PhD because the PhD was paying me monthly because I was teaching at school. So came, I finished my doctorate in management in 2020. I was done in 2020, but I prolonged it for another year because of paperwork situation. I was done. Yeah, and then I felt like teaching, researching was good, but again, it didn't feel 100% what I wanted to do. And so I got into product development with Jordan and Michaela to make supplements and health foods and whatnot. And then from there, I felt like I want to do something more like creative from my own sense. And I think that's where I got interested in the modeling and stuff. I was already in good shape. I was like, why not monetize it and just get in front of the camera? It was something that was uncomfortable for me to get in front of the camera. So did that. And then recently, you know this, over the last 2 years or so, working on my own business. So that's kind of the story in a nutshell that brought me here. And bro, I don't regret a single step, man. I love going back to Europe to visit every now and then. But to live, at least for this right now, I prefer to be here. Maybe that changes in the future when I have kids, but right now this is the place to be for me. How about you, man?
Vegas was an opportunity that arose, or that I found out about through another friend of mine, and he was like, you'd fit this. This would work well for you. He knew I was single. He had a wife and 2 kids, I think, at the time. So the opportunity for him to move countries and set up somewhere else wasn't quite as easy of a switch up. But he suggested that, he was like, you know, some people are going to be opening up a big venue there. They're going to need DJs. You already know this guy. Like, put yourself forward for it. I think it's a go.
How long were you DJing in England before you came, though?
Professionally, maybe 9 years.
Okay, so
8, 9 years.
did you already have a following in England before you came?
Yeah.
A decent
in my
name?
scene. Yeah, I was touring. So I had an agent. I had a manager. I had a following in my scene,
which is
trance music.
Trance, okay. And then the reason I'm asking this is it's fairly difficult to come to the US as an artist on an artist visa if you don't already have some credentials in your home country. Because otherwise every random DJ is going to apply to come to Vegas. Everyone wants to come. So you already had a name. And that facilitated the move to the US, I assume.
Yeah, and the company that I was going to be working the majority of the time with, that played the biggest part, because they sponsored the visa.
Which was that Hakkasan?
That was Hakkasan Group.
Hakkasan Group. Sick, man.
Yeah.
And when you got the opportunity, were you hesitant or did you know, like, I'm 100%?
Oh, I was all in. Yeah, I was living in Swindon at the time.
Bro, the freaking DJ in Vegas versus DJ
this
in
opportunity,
Swindon?
yeah, it was like I might be able to move to Vegas, and I'm like, every part of my imagination went to, it's going to be that and this and this and that and that. It's interesting because I've now been here 13 years. I'm not bored of it. I love my life here. I love all my friends here. I love the life that I've managed to build here too. There's an interesting quote that I read recently saying, you don't fall in love with the city, you fall in love with the version of yourself you feel possible there. Because I'm constantly saying to people, it doesn't matter where you are, which is obviously almost a bit of a hypocritical thing to say, because I moved from Swindon, didn't I? So I clearly didn't want to stay where I was. But there's something about how you feel in certain places that maybe opens up your imagination to like more opportunity, more potential. Maybe it's partly the weather as well. I certainly love the weather here.
Bro, it's true though, what you just said, because remember when I just said the idea of living here aligned more with the idea of me being free in whatever endeavor I want to pursue. That's kind of looking at your potential. So I felt the same way, like the potential that I wanted to tap into, it felt more relevant and accessible here. And I absolutely believe that to be true. Because I even remember going in Germany and applying for a modeling agency. And back then I was in school. I think I was already done with my bachelor's. I was working. And the guy's like, you have a degree. You're already working in a company. You have a career. What do you mean, like, you want to now switch to modeling? For them, it was either that or that. Like, what are you doing? You see?
It's weird how it's so black and white. For them.
A lot of it is. And I think now it's opening up a little bit more. Like, when I was at that age, it was not during the social media time. So people didn't really see a lot of people doing a variety of things. Now you see a bunch of influencers doing a bunch of stuff. They're doing energy drink, then they're doing a freaking YouTube channel, and then they collaborate on some clothing with people. It's a very different time. But back then it was like, especially for Germans, like, what? You're already that age, maybe like late 20s? Too late, man. Whereas, bro, there's market for everything and everyone in this country, and that's the thing that I love. I think if you are someone who wants to pursue their dreams, it's easier. It's not impossible to do in Germany, but it's easier here. If you prefer security, job security, a decent 9 to 5 with a lot of vacation, good, like decent healthcare, even that is not the best anymore, Germany is the better place. And a lot of my friends that come and visit here, that's how they feel. They come say, oh, I like the beach. I like the fact that I have 4 weeks of paid vacation. I like to be in Germany. I like the fact that, we get, I don't know, a year or 2 years with our kid, paternal leave, when the kid is born. A lot of people prefer that, right? So in that regard, Germany is absolutely good, but that doesn't outweigh the potential and the benefits I'm getting here. That's just my specific case.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what type of a person you are then.
For real, yeah.
If you're like, this is again comes back to the way we grew up. Both of us grew up in towns or villages, for yourself, a village.
Yeah.
Where we kind of had to fight for we had to fight for ourselves. There was a competitive nature to like trying to get out of where we were, I guess. Like try and progress through something. It wasn't handed to us on a plate. And so following to where we are now as adults, the breadth of opportunity in somewhere like America, the scope and the like we say the way that the culture is set up for kind of entrepreneurs or people who are willing to kind of work for themselves, because you could be employed by a corporate company here, but you have different goals, you have different ambitions.
I do.
If you're prepared to chase those and stick at them, then America's the place for you. But if you, like you say, if you want regularity, then maybe it's not the right place. Certainly not for a foreign person to come to.
For real, yeah. I agree. If I wanted to just work in a company, I'd probably be in Germany. But I also feel like a lot of people negotiate with themselves and tell themselves through that negotiation internally that that's actually what they want. And I don't think that's true for a lot of people. I think a lot of people just don't like to chase that adventure and put themselves
because it can be stressful.
It is very stressful, bro.
Stressful, and the pressure that you put on yourself.
Yeah, dude. Like the whole journey until I got my paperwork and stuff done, and even getting my positions here at university, all of that was super stressful. But I think that's part of seeking that adventure externally, and it's very easy to say, you know what, I don't need any of that. I'll just do my 9 to 5. I have my family. I do my have my weekends, and maybe that works for a lot of people. But I think a lot of people are actually negotiating themselves out of the different life, and they kind of settle with that type of life. And I just told myself I didn't want to do it, and I think that's also the reason why I didn't decide to have kids very early, because I knew it would be much more difficult being married and having kids that early.
That's a massive benefit. Yeah. 'Cause
Massive,
if you
yeah.
have kids, your whole life is you have a different priority list.
For real. And so I think, yeah, these things can always change, bro. Maybe 10 years from now, I tell you, I prefer that security for my kids. I prefer them being born and raised maybe in a place like Germany is better because you can walk to places. You're more in closer proximity to other people. It's a different life. That's beautiful too. Maybe I'll say that. And this is the other thing, man. Like being
You'll be living in OC. What are you talking about?
OC is the
That's a dream,
oh,
bro.
That's ticked. I know that's done, bro. Sooner or later, that's the place. So I think for me, it's being aware that my preferences may change over time, and not just holding on to the idea of what I once wanted has to be there all the time. It's that dynamic internal dialogue that you have to constantly have and listen to and kind of dissect and become aware of what it is that you actually want. And that's kind of like the daily practice, to not fool yourself and also to not be ignorant to any changes that you might have within. Because what I'm saying right now is applying to today. It might have applied to the last few years. But that need might change at some point, and it could be very easy for me to say, no, let me just hold on to this reality I have here, because that was once my vision of what I want to be.
I wonder if I'm doing that to some degree then.
How?
By holding on to being in Vegas. Because I've got friends here and I've got my life here, but my life could be anywhere, right? I could be in Bali. I could certainly build my life there too. But I don't want to have to go anywhere else than where I am at the moment.
But why do you say that then? That means that is there some conversation you have with yourself that would hint towards that maybe?
Yeah, my status in the country at the moment is uncertain. So I don't know. A lot of people ask me like, how long do you plan to stay in Vegas for? And my answer is always like, I don't have any plans to leave it, but I may have to at some point. So I don't know.
So you're actually considering that as an option?
I'm
if
not
that happens.
considering it as an option as much as I am accepting that it may have to be.
Okay.
I don't want that to be the case.
Me neither.
I'll do everything I can to stay where I am, but then again, I'm like, is that me trying to stay in my comfort zone? Is there some calling to some other place that I should follow that I'm blocking myself from because I've decided, or I have the belief that 13 years ago I made a decision to do this, so I'm holding on to that as tight as I can.
I think your situation is a little bit tricky because it's always different when you can freely make that choice of leaving versus someone else making that choice for you.
Yeah.
I think when you can decide freely to leave and you say, you know what, I don't want to hold on to my idea of this life here and I want to move to Bali or whatever, then that is your choice. I think when someone else is making that choice, it almost seems like someone is interfering with the thing that you think is currently right for you, if that is the case. And I think that's where a lot of the stress comes in. If that is purely from within, like you want to leave and you leave, you're essentially giving into that internal voice that's telling you to leave. But when your voice is telling you this is a place I want to stay, and someone is telling you you need to leave, then this is actually something that's going to be kind of the faith-based approach, where it's like, then maybe that's happening for a right reason that is yet for me to understand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going with, because I am a man of faith. So I'm going with, okay, I just don't know what's around the next corner, but I believe that it's for me. So I carry on doing what I'm doing, and I do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And I maybe switch up the awareness of like opportunity around me for work, and just try and be as clear as I can on things.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it could be overwhelming.
The situation you're going through is, I personally think it's kind of like a defining moment in your life, what you're going through right now. It It doesn't get much more turbulent than that from all the different angles, work-wise, status-wise, your entire life here. That could be a lot. But Nathan was yesterday, was like, dude, I'm not able to tell. He seems so light, he seems so good. I think you're doing fairly well, man, all things considered. And I think you're handling the situation with grace and as much calm as anyone can. And I think that is actually the path forward through a situation like this. Because, you see, there's this thing in Buddhism, and I think I told you this before, the 2 arrows. But in your situation, the 2 arrows that Buddha talks about, the first arrow is life setting happening to you. Your status, your work, you don't know. You wake up to an email one day, maybe you have to leave the country. That's the setting. That's the first arrow in Buddhism. The second arrow is the story you tell yourself that leads to more suffering, depending on the first arrow. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be screwed. I'm unlucky. Shit. Like that part is the second arrow. So the Buddha says, the first arrow, I can't help you with. The second arrow is totally up to you, which is that reaction and adaptation to the situation. And by the way, what's beautiful in Buddhism is it also happens when things are good. The 2 arrows, in the positive sense, are something good is happening to you, getting a promotion, or all of a sudden your visa works out. Then the second arrow is telling you a supreme, great story that now everything is going to be great and you're going to have so much money and you're going to be the best, or that you're better than other people. That's also the second arrow. So it applies negatively and positively. But I think what you're doing is, like, in your situation, you're not shooting that second arrow at yourself as good as you can, which is like maintaining the calm and the right outlook, independent of the setting that is currently surrounding you, right?
Yeah.
And I personally think that is actually what makes or breaks someone leveling up as a human in all aspects, personality-wise, becoming more courageous, becoming more confident, or someone staying the same or leveling down. It's the navigation through the setting. It's not the setting itself, because you throw that setting at someone else and he's gonna go through it completely differently.
Yeah.
So it's the process rather than the setting itself that's gonna dictate how far you go. And I can imagine, because I've been in similar situations, specifically with my status. I've been through very similar situations. So I know how tough that is. If someone doesn't go through that,
how did you deal with it? What was your process?
I'll tell you how I dealt with it, but let me just lay this out because people don't understand this, bro. Like, most people have already had some type of loss, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a job, get fired or something happens. You know how difficult that is when you have to change your partner, when you're going through a breakup or your work relationship ends. That's a very difficult thing for most people, and it requires a lot of time for you to go through that and to heal and to kind of like go back to life. I think what people don't understand is the thing that you dealt with and that I've also dealt with, which is kind of my paperwork situation. Everything is nested within this situation. So the thing that a lot of people view as difficult, job, partnership, those are the things that are already part of something grander. Because if you don't have a status and you can't stay here, you're losing your status, you're losing your professional relationship, you're losing your personal relationships to a certain degree, you're gonna be isolated. So this is like hardship times 300. That's the first thing. People don't understand that haven't been through this. It's an existential threat. It's not a threat to a specific situation like the job or the partnership. It's like someone is pulling your entire corpus. You don't stand on anything. You're standing on shaky ground. That's the most difficult part. You're like up in the air hanging. Now in terms of how to deal with it, now I would deal with it differently. Back then I was not religious. I didn't really have any relationship with God. So what I did was try to work myself through it. I was like, let me go.
Hard on the physical.
Hard on the physical.
I noticed I'm in the gym a bit more, and I'm like, it's like my mum would say, I'm putting on the armor. It's just like a Bible quote, like each morning, shield, sword. Like that's part of what I'm doing. I'm doing the physical.
And now that you say this, I know exactly what I did. I was listening to Jordan Peterson daily, probably for 3 to 5 hours. So I would go on these long walks and I would listen to every single lecture and podcast he put out. And his entire narrative is that life is suffering, that you have to bear your own cross. that was my intro to God. It was not really God because I only listened to Jordan Peterson. I didn't read the Bible. I didn't have any relationship beyond that with God. But it allowed me to frame my situation as almost like a heroic journey that was handed to me, and now I have to lift myself up. So I went Goggins. I went Andrew Tate on it. I went like, let me man up. I fed back into my ego to overcome the situation.
Yeah.
And ultimately it worked. And that's the beautiful thing about the nature of reality, bro. We have access, we have tools on the physical and on the spiritual plane. And I think when you have the spiritual plane and the physical plane aligned, things flow much more easily. So now probably I would still do the things like go send out my applications, figure out what my intelligence, what I need to do, talk to people. But I would probably put in the same amount of effort to rest in a state of peace, to rest in a state of tranquility. I think I would put a lot of emphasis on that, because on the outside I was doing everything, but on the inside, bro, I was like, and I know that the more you're actually bubbling internally, the more you have to act to get what you want. The more you're increasing your frequency through finding a level of peace, the less you have to act. Because that frequency speaks louder than words and speaks louder than actions. And then it's patience. In Islam, you have sabr. When things are not going right, you have sabr, which is patience. When things are going good, you have shukr, which is gratitude. When things are difficult, you have patience. And that patience is nested in you doing what you know you need to be doing, and do whatever you need to do to calm yourself down, which is why I said we need to go to Fogo, bro.
Yes, we do.
No, seriously, bro. I mean, when you're in situations like this, you're like, I shouldn't be treating myself because I should be making more tracks. I should be hustling more hard. That's the reason I'm in this situation. That's the illusion, bro. Yes, you should be doing all of this, but you should also be focusing on an internal state of peace.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. I think it was 2 weeks ago, the message in church was 40 days in the desert, and I'm already like I'm in the desert. So I'm already relating to it. It's about this. Everything you're saying is about how we approach things, how we respond to things. It's the story that we're telling ourselves of where we're at and what's coming next. So when there's a storm hitting, I've got to know that something is beyond that. The storm is always passing over me. I just have to bear it. So like that's the patience thing. That's the suffering. While it happens, I've got to. This is happening, so I can't fight that. It's also the world, though. The world, it's happening out here how I see it, but I'm the one who's in control of how I respond and how I feel about that. So they're talking about Jesus in the desert, 40 days, and the devil's coming up to him and saying, how about you do this? How about you turn this rock into some bread? You must be really hungry. Trying to convince him to change his mind, trying to get him in his mind, rather than what he knows. So when I think about a hard situation or an environment that I'm in or anyone is in, that's something that you see in the world. Don't let that voice come into your head that convinces you should try something different. Maybe this isn't meant for you. Instead of going with what you see, go with what you know. And what I know is that there's something beyond it that I'm yet to be aware of, but I have belief and faith that it's happening for the right reasons, and that oftentimes when you're in this kind of state in life, it precedes whatever the next part of growth is. And I've been told that a few times, and it's always worked out. And this is also the funny thing. The amount of times that I have been in awkward situations, or you've been in awkward situations, we seem to forget that we always come through it. There's never not been a time where you've not come through it.
Yes.
And then you're ripping on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're saying there's something that you're not fully aware of and that will come to you. I will make the case and say it's right in front of you. It's not somewhere in the future. It's not somewhere up there. It's not something you're waiting for. Because I'll ask you, what is it that new situation, if it resolves itself, would give you ultimately?
Peace of mind.
Correct. And what is that?
A state?
Yeah.
What, a feeling?
Exactly. It's a state. Well, where is that state? It's inside of you. So what you're waiting for is accessible to you at all times. That's what the kingdom of heaven is within you. That's the reason. Because the kingdom of heaven is no place. It's a state of consciousness.
Yeah, I know that.
So the more you can remind yourself of that, the more you can enter the kingdom of heaven right now, because it's accessible to you at all times. That's the beauty of God. You don't have to wait for him. He's here.
That is a bar.
And which is, faith is really tested amongst turmoil, not when you're in paradise. When you're in paradise, it's easy to be faithful.
Yeah.
Faith is tested when the opposite happens, right? And it's the amount of peace, relaxation, and conviction you can have independent of this life around you, throwing at you this scenario. That's real faith.
This reminds me of your phrase about faith, that it brings relief.
Yeah.
Or it's make-believe.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean by that.
That's
yes.
exactly the same thing that I heard in church was, it's not about the strength of your faith, it's about the object of your faith. So if you place your faith in God, you're good. It's already written. It's finished, it's complete. Get some more coffees.
Yeah. So
I'm saying the same thing.
Well, yes. The only difference I would say is when you're going through a tough time versus a good time, the amount of conversation and the type of conversation you're going to have is slightly increased and slightly different. Because when things are good, you don't have to do a lot of reframing of the situation. Because your autopilot in that situation is kind of okay. So you're calm, things are going okay. You don't have to do a lot of reframing of why it is you're going through the situation is. Because when things are good, what's the point of, you don't need to reframe, you just are. The thing is when things are difficult and the doubt comes in, you have to expend a certain level of attention on what it is that's bubbling up inside of you, and then decide and choose to think otherwise. Because the moment a doubt arises, it's up to you to catch that doubt and actually tell yourself, I know that I am good. So you're not letting that doubt manifest and take on a life of its own. So that part of it is willpower on your end. And I personally learned that willpower is actually specifically made for this type of scenario. I really think willpower is overrated other than in this situation. I think willpower is there for you to choose what you want to believe and think in every moment. Because that's your ability through your physical vessel and through your mind to get a grip on your subconscious thoughts bubbling up. I don't necessarily think willpower is there to hustle so hard. I don't believe in that. I believe that willpower is there so you can actually choose in every moment what state you want to occupy. The more you do that, the more you will find peace. The more you will find peace, the more you enter the kingdom of heaven. And that's why I'm saying that part is always going to be with you. Is it difficult? Yes. In your situation specifically. But is it accessible still? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's never not accessible.
Yes, it's never not accessible. Maybe you have to expend a little bit more energy. Maybe you do.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's just about allowing and surrendering. Because you can't fight it either. If I resist it, I'm also not in the right place. I have to be careful. I'm not going out there with the shield and being like, right, I'm going into battle. Yeah, I'm going into battle, but the battle's already won because I've got God on my side. So I need to have that framework. Okay, good. Carry on. Just carry on. Accept it. And move. Keep doing. You know what? It's interesting in these last 2 weeks to see what I've been doing with my time. I've started things again that I'd put on pause that really make me happy.
So for example?
Like making a radio show, like sharing in different ways, creating things that I hadn't done for a while. I hadn't made any music in a long while because I had been so focused on I've got to make money or I've got to do this and that I wasn't following my heart of things. I was following my head, which is good in some ways. Like I'm setting some things up, but also like I don't want to stress myself out and burn out on something.
Yeah.
When like you don't burn out when you're doing it from the heart.
Absolutely.
You go in for hours and
That's
hours
a good
and
point.
hours, and
Yes.
then you're just like
Doesn't feel like work, does it?
You're like, oh, I've got to go to bed now. I don't want to though.
That's how you felt when you made your movie too. I know that feeling. That's how I feel when I make the bars and whatnot.
When you make the bars and then you're excited, your energy levels are absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
You're on the treadmill for 3 hours listening to something, sending notes backwards and forwards. There's no stopping you.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the more moments you you have during the day like that, I think the more you're gonna find that level of fulfillment, independent of the madness around you. You just said it yourself, bro.
I know.
You're in a situation where if you tell anyone I feel at peace, they'll be like, what? How can you feel at peace?
Yeah.
It's just not possible. How are you not like running around like an ant, going this way, that way? The reason is precisely that, because you're filling your day with moments that you identify with. You're doing tasks you identify with. Anything you do right now that can calm your nervous system and allow you to find a level of balance is only going to help you.
I heard a quote yesterday in where you said the word chaos. I thought of this quote I listened to yesterday in Know Thyself podcast.
Andrew DeCroom.
Yeah, the legend.
Good podcast.
The legend's got such a soft voice, that guy.
Soft voice, great hair, bro.
Beautiful. It's amazing.
My
hair.
goodness gracious, that hair, bro.
He's on a really good skin routine as well, for sure.
Glass skin, yeah. But he needs to gua sha. He's a little puffy. I saw.
Yeah, he's gua sha. Okay,
needs
we'll
to
get him
gua
some gua sha. Gave him some glory bars as well. He's talking about Arthur Schopenhauer, philosopher, I think he was.
Yep.
He's talking about chaos. Like, if you have chaos, you know you're alive, because what's death? Nothing. Like, none of us have experienced death, but like, there ain't going to be much going on in your life at that point, because chaos is a signal that you're alive. So the more that you're able to sense anything about yourself in and amongst the things that are going on in your life, that's when you know that you're experiencing life at its fullest.
That it makes sense. And it's simply a shifting on perspective that you have in relationship to chaos. Like all of these quotes that we're reading, or even our conversation, is purely to shift perspective. The situation is still the same, but he's saying chaos, but chaos is actually a sign that you're alive. So you'll think about that, what he says, and you'll feel like, that is true. What is that moment that is true? It's a different perspective. So really what it comes down to is remembering and reminding yourself that you in every given moment have the ability to shift perspective. That's God's gift for all of us.
Yes, that is a fact as well. You're spitting some bars today, mate. Did you wake up and you chose to speak facts? Is that how you did? Man, a brooder.
Bro, I don't know, man. I had this.
He speaks many languages, my brother, but...
Yeah, based on the day you choose one over the other, don't you?
Yeah, that's facts.
So, but how do you feel most of the day? What would you say in your situation?
I feel content.
You seem content. The reason I'm asking you is, maybe you feel different inside. You seem content to me. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm completely mad, but I do. Yeah, I feel like there's something that's come in. I'm feeling more open to it. I don't think that that's just delusional. I truly think that I'm doing as much as I possibly can to be like, it's just that.
Bro, I respect that, man, because everything that you're saying right now is work and it's practice, and it's a relationship with God that is strong. Because most people in your situation would lose their mind. 100%, bro, I can tell you that. And I think also a lot of people that would go through a situation like yours would almost feel guilty to feel at peace. Like, how should I feel guilty? I need to go and hustle, and I need to bend the world to make things work. I need to just run 24/7. But that's not true. It's actually not true. What you're doing actually is much more difficult. Which is you're working, you're operating on the plane of action, on the plane of physical. But you're calm because you have faith, man. Having faith in a situation like that is a hallmark of a good relationship of faith. 1000%. So respect, bro. That's like, we're talking, this is like super spiritual bros, and we always talk about Bhagavad Gita, we talk about Buddhism and Jesus, and at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything if in a situation like that, it doesn't manifest itself.
Yeah. This is the test.
So what you're actually doing right now is being the thing that you always talk about, and I respect that part. And I know that this is gonna get you far. No doubt about that. Where it goes, like, I don't know.
To the moon.
I try to keep you here, bro. Yeah, man.
It's going to be a big year, man. And I'm not just saying that. I've got a feeling that some stuff's going to explode.
Phenomenal.
I see what you're doing. You inspire me. Being around people that are actively doing things that they love inspires me. Creative minds, creative thinking. Like, what's his name that works? Victor, that type of a, well, there's a solution to that. That type of mentality just gets me going. Because there's always a solution. There's always a way to work out the equation. Sometimes it means you got to ask some people, can you help me with this equation? I'm not, and then someone else can help you again see from a slightly different angle. A lot of how I feel at the moment has been because I'm surrounding myself with good people who are helping me think that way too, who are supportive. I'm not talking in like what they're offering me, but just in the way that they help me think through my things, and then they remind me again that the solution is that it's there. It's just a case of rearranging the map a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to say that life's going to continue ripping. That's the only way it can go.
Let's go, bro. And one thing to remember is like whatever the situation right now is, you are part of something grander. You're part of the infinite. You're part of God.
I'm part of the Gua Sha movement.
You're part of the Gua Sha movement.
I'm not yet. I should be.
Not yet. Disappointed, bro. But you have created this situation around you, and obviously you're gonna be good. It's you. It's all of this is you, man.
Yeah, full responsibility. I've also created the mess of it as well.
You have.
So,
but
it's full acceptance.
But God, which you are a part of, going through you and is part of you, wrote this scenario the way it is. So it's you. It's all you. You wrote this situation. The thing that you're trying to escape from or that people deem as bad, the moment you know that it's actually you, you brought this into the reality for a reason, you can surrender to that much more easily.
Yeah. It's like when, it's coming.
You did it and you take care of yourself. It's all you.
It's like when you're making the glory bars. You're like, I just don't know how. I just don't know. It's just coming through me.
Ask me. How did I come up with this recipe? I don't know. It's God working through me. I'm just a vessel.
That's what we all
My
are,
hands
man.
move and make these bars, but I don't know where it comes from. Try to stay humble. Exactly, man.
Yeah,
Bro.
Dude.
Sick, man. Well,
thank you for always being there for me, bro. This is what
My
keeps
pleasure,
us
man.
going, man. These kind of conversations started off here, ends up here.
we're back to the roots, bro.
Yeah, this is the roots. Us
this is
going
the
on,
roots
us going on walks, getting to the depths of things.
I quite enjoy talking here, honestly.
Yeah, I like this place.
Maybe we do this more often. It feels different.
It's
than
nice
in the studio.
outside as well. Like, you get a bit of fresh air, some birds running around, a geezer, moving a chair.
Yeah, you're talking about the actual birds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the chicks.
Oh no, the birds.
Yeah. The birds with the wings. Yeah.
Oh, for real. All right, bro. Pleasure,
Pleasure, bro.
Let's go.